Hi, everybody. It's Zane Yoder with Sailing Views, and today I have a very special treat. This is Ty Baird. If you guys don't know who he is an excellent young sailor. He has sailed at Charleston. He's based out of Florida. Now he lives in Michigan. I'm not exactly sure, but I know he's a great sailor, and it's a pleasure to have him. So, how you doing, Ty?
Doing well, Zane. Thank you so much. Yeah, I grew up sailing opties. I kind of moved into lasers and 420s and FJs, and basically every weekend I was sailing a different boat. And then as I progressed through college, I started off at Old Dominion, and then I transferred to University of South Florida, and I'd done a few things like Eldest 32 Worlds and Navy 44s as well. But yeah, just getting back into it. Hopefully we can start a season soon.
Yeah, I know the whole season's kind of up in the air right now. You know, with all the regattas being pushed back, and then now they're being canceled, and I don't know when we're all going to get started, but I'm looking forward to it. All right, so let's start off with some of your early sailing. How'd you get started into sailing?
My dad. I mean, a lot of people know my dad. He was just kind of like, "You want to try this?" and had me go out sailing in Green Fleet. And I think I started. I was pretty young, but I started. I was 8. Started at the local program down in St. Pete Yacht Club, and just kind of learned how to sail and fell in love with the sport. Then, I had my hardships as well, but I enjoyed every second of it as well.
Yeah, with your dad. In case you viewers don't know, Ed Baird is his dad, so I'm sure you had a lot to live up to sailing wise. Did he push you? Did he push you a lot and keep you motivated, or he just sort of let you go with the coaches and say figure it out?
Sometimes I would have like hard times. I used to be really scared of like anything over 15.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of tiny. I'm not a huge dude. Like I was 65 pounds, and big breeze scared me. And my dad was just like, "You can do it. Like, just get around the race course, just have some fun." And he was really encouraging. He wasn't like the kind of father that would just kind of like push you and like kind of force you to do it. He'd let me kind of figure it out and find the fun and the excitement in the sport on my own.
Yeah. All right. So, have you gotten to beat him yet?
I have not. My younger brother has.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We did a late. It wasn't really a fair race. So we sailed lasers against each other. My dad was in a full rig, and we were in radials. And my younger brother, my dad capsized him down the leg, and my younger brother just barely beat him at the finish line.
I gotcha.
So I was right behind the two of them.
So. Yeah. I grew up similar. My dad was a great sailor, and that's one of the things that definitely motivated me to become a better sailor. And this was at a really early age, and and like you, I was really small. I was 65 pounds for it seemed like forever. And then when I finally started putting on enough weight to hold the boat flat and anything over 2 knots, I started being a little more competitive. All right, so who were some of the early influences? Who really helped, mold you into the sailor you are now?
Definitely Todd and Jenna Fedison. Mm-hmm. They've been my coaches for a long time. Eric Bardis as well. He was my opti coach. He kind of taught me how to feel the boat, which is really interesting. So I think a lot of sailors kind of read the wind and can see what's happening to the boat, but they don't actually can't feel the boat. And that was really cool. He blindfolded us and had us sail blindfolded, and would tell us when we almost run into each other. Yeah, those 3 people I'd say are my biggest influences besides my dad. I could ask him a question at any time, and he'd answer it.
Yeah. All right. So at what point did you think you were good and you had a shot to keep going with it?
That would probably be joining Team 4. Team 4, when I was growing up, was the elite all around the country opti team from the United States, and we were pretty good. And then moving into high school, I was part of Shorecrest, and we gained a lot of traction there with winning events. The year after I left, we won every single high school event except for team racing. Got second.
Wow. Now the
So
team
it's like,
4, that's Ian, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's the new coach. Eric Bardis is the coach now. So.
Okay. All right. So what is your favorite boat? I mean, you've done opties, lasers. I know you've done 32s. You've been on some IC 37s, I think, haven't you? So what's your favorite so far?
All-time favorite would be the 49er.
Really?
I went to an Olympic development program for that. And me and my brother jumped on a 49er and spent about a month, actually a few months, sailing that boat.
Yeah.
Trying to be competitive with the Olympic guys that are going forward now.
Yeah, that's not a lot of time to catch up and get a boat figured out with the rest of them.
We did beat him around the race course until we capsized, so that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so how is that boat? I mean, I know they're very physical and you have to be really agile. What are some things that you really had to learn with that boat?
Balance. I've never been on a boat that accelerates as fast as that does. A few times I've actually walked off the back of the boat because it accelerates so fast.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, and then also like you don't sit down. I'm used to a laser or a FJ or a 420 or any of the big boats. You sit down most of the time. Like this boat, if you sit down, you're gonna capsize.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine that's a little different. You know, especially coming from where you grew up in an opti, sitting down in a laser, and all these other boats. Yeah.
And hiking is the trapeze wire, getting out on a trapeze, driving the boat in one hand, holding onto the trapeze in the other, and just like trusting that you're not going to let go of the trapeze.
Yeah.
It clips into your harness. That's just a little bit accelerated.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just through attack.
Yeah.
So.
I sailed a bunch of trapeze boats when I was younger, and I was always tall and skinny, so I was a good crew. And I can make the transition from pivot on the board, jump back on the wire pretty well. But I know I've missed it quite a few times and gone swimming, and you really learn some lessons about trying to hold on.
Yeah, and also those boats are a little finicky. If you dig the leeward wing, you're going to capsize. If you run out of pressure suddenly, you're going to capsize.
Yeah, so it's a lot of swimming.
Lots of swimming.
All right. So what's your favorite place to sail?
Ooh, right now I would say Newport because of how diverse it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can sail inside with shifty flat water conditions. You can sail inside with kind of steadier oscillating shifts from the shores. The current plays a big role, and also the outdoor. Well, outside the channel is a good spot as well.
Yeah, I've sailed there a bunch, and well, not really a bunch, but I definitely do not have it figured out. And
that's the thing, is it's so challenging.
Yeah,
that's what I really enjoy
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. I would need a month to go because we did a Radio Worlds or something there back when I was younger, and we did both inside and outside, and I was wrong on everything I called. So ever since then, I've had issues going to Newport. I'm like, I don't know what to do, and I still don't know what to do. All right.
Every day is different.
Yeah. All right. So where do you see sailing going in the future? Especially with a little pandemic we're getting out of. But beyond that, where are we going to go with it?
Foiling. I think that's the future. I mean, there's still going to be boats that are in the water, and there's still going to be boats that are kind of like the methodical, like the old America's Cup boats. They're going to be the close match racing. Mm-hmm. But I think the sport is going to go to more high performance, lighter, faster, kind of like road bikes. They're getting lighter, faster, and smaller and better. I haven't foiled yet, but that's where I think the sport's going, especially with the F50s and the new America's Cup boats.
Yeah. So is foiling something that attracts you and other people your age? I know you're a lot younger than I am. Is that something that really gets y'all excited about it? Because, in my world, we're all still sailing the lead mines and going 4 knots and not doing much. So
well, it's a different type of race. I think that with some people, they really enjoy the speed. I enjoy the speed as well, but I think racing needs to be close. And foiling, watch the America's Cup in 2007 compared to the last one. The racing was so much closer in that than the 2007 one, because the monohulls that are in the water are all the same speed. Like a J70, if they were foiling, it wouldn't be as close of a race as it is And so I like the strategy and the close racing as well as the speed. So I think if we can find a blend between the two.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like we need to get you in a moth. You know.
Yeah, or a wasp.
Yeah, a moth or a wasp, either one. All right. So, well, actually, let's go back to that question. With you say foiling, you think is what the future is. How is that? How do you think that'll trickle down to, like you say, us old guys like me that just can't do it? You know, do you think in the future, do you see production boats coming with foils, or modified foils, kind of like the whatever the '60s are, or do you?
Yeah, I'm not really sure actually. I mean, I think that we're gonna have lighter boats, lighter, more carbon-filled boats. That's the future. Like this, I mean, the Star is a class that's been around forever,
Yeah.
and I think that class is going to just, if they can get young people back into the boats, I think that's how the Star class is going to build again. But the boats, I think that the 29er, the 49er, the Moth, the Wasp, the UFO, all those boats are getting traction. Like the Melded team, whatever it is, the small Melded boats.
Yeah. The one they just came out with. Yeah, I'm not sure what it's called.
Those types of boats are going to be the new ones because they're fast, they're nimble, they're easy to sail. The rigs don't go.
Yeah.
That's kind of the picture of sailing.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a Star?
I have not. First time I actually touched a Star was at a party this year.
Yeah. Yeah, they're. I went sailing on them just once, and no experience in it. Barely told, how to make the mast move around. And I had a crew that was a good friend of mine, but was not a sailor. And we went out, and of course, it's blowing like 18, and that rig bit forward as soon as we turned downwind. It's scary, man. All right, so let's move on to one of the next things. What's the best regatta you've done?
My favorite regatta would have been the first time I went to the Kennedy Cup in 2016, because that was the first time that University of South Florida had been invited to sail as a part of the Kennedy Cup, and the racing was really close. The top three guys, by the last race, it was 2 points dictated who won, who got third.
Ooh.
And we eked out a win. So much so that I forget who came up. One of the, I think, blanking on his name, but one of the heads of the regatta came up to us. The PRO came up to us and said, "Congratulations, you guys won." We all looked at each other. What?
We did?
We won? Like, what? Yeah.
It's one
That was
that
probably my.
yeah. So I'm guessing that was one where you were all shooting the finish line at the same time, then, huh?
Oh my God! So 44s, like especially college kids, trying to maneuver these heavy spinnakers. All three of us rounded the bottom mark. It was going 15 to 18. We rounded the bottom mark. We tried to take these spinnakers to sound like they were 420 spinnakers. Like drop it one boat length to the mark and turn around the mark and go. And I'm the bowman, so I'm like, this is not gonna work. So the top three guys who are all trying to win the regatta all drop their spinnakers as late as possible. We all run them over. We just were fortunate enough that our spinnaker didn't get completely underneath the keel.
Yeah.
And so we pulled it up, and one boat was coming in behind us. I don't know why. They could have rolled us and just made it a living hell. They tacked away, and we're like,
we live.
yeah. We banged the right corner, came back, crossed the boat that we needed to, and we won the regatta. But we didn't think that we did.
Yeah.
The points were just so close.
I gotcha. All right. So with that, what's one of your worst regattas? I mean, have you ever had any just horrible moments where nothing goes right?
Oh yeah. So I went to Old Dominion my freshman year, and my sophomore year there was ACCs there, and I went to the regatta thinking that, oh yeah, I've got this. I've sailed this venue before. Like, I'll be fine. I'll be good. I got last
Oh.
by 30 points.
Hmm.
So like I was just going around the back of the bus the whole time. That's probably my worst regatta.
Yeah, I think we've all been there. Everybody I've talked to, picking the best regatta is a little more difficult because they say they're all good.
Yeah.
But picking the worst, just about everybody says, yeah, the wheels fell off. We couldn't get around the race course. We got last, or just, something. Everybody seems to have one of those. So
I couldn't get off the starting line. I couldn't go the right way. I would go left, and then the breeze would shift right, and then I'd go right, and then the breeze would shift left, and it was just
yeah, just totally out of sync. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yep. All right. So, what's the strangest thing you've seen floating by? Or you're out on a sailboat or a motorboat, and all of a sudden there's something weird floating in the water.
Oh, actually, so not floating in the water, but it was an animal. So I was sailing I was practicing with short grass, and I think it must have been an manatee. Hit the centerboard of one of my teammates' boats, and then like gushed up all of this water. And my teammate Patrick Shanahan was like freaking out because he's like, "What is that? Oh my god!"
Yeah.
It was kind of weird just seeing a gush of it. It was like a geyser underneath this F jet.
Yeah.
Pulling water up. I mean, that's kind of crazy to see. I haven't really seen anything floating. The amount of balloons that I've seen, and since I've been turned on to the offshore balloons,
Yeah.
balloons in the water, that's relevant.
Yeah, that is definitely a tragedy. I see them when I'm not sailing. I go offshore fishing a lot, and man, I'll be out 25 miles and I'll see a big pile of balloons. It's like, run over and pick them up and pick up everything I can. All right. Well, let's see. With you not really being out and seeing a whole lot, let's move on to the next one, which is, what's your best role on a boat? If you're on a big boat or something, or sailing with multiple people.
Yeah, I found that my best role is I enjoy bow the most,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd say that one of my best roles is tactics.
All right.
I have a knack for it. I can see the overall picture of the boats. I just have to get used to the boat, depending on how fast it is.
Yeah.
Because tactics changes. If you're going 4 knots upwind, your tactics are pretty slow and methodical. If you're going 18 knots upwind, then your tactics need to be a little quicker.
Yeah.
But bow is probably my favorite because I don't have to think that much anymore.
Yeah.
I just have to get the spinnaker right.
Yeah. You're just up there dealing with that. I got you.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself an aggressive tactician or a conservative one?
Definitely conservative.
Conservative?
I think my sailing style is a little less aggressive. I've noticed that because me and my brother grew up together. He's only a year and a half younger than me. And he's the aggressive sailor. He would go out and get things. He's really top-end sailor. And I was a little bit more passive, a little bit more conservative. And we'd get around the same results.
Yeah. Well, I know you and I have talked about doing some regattas, and you were going to be with me at the Melges Worlds this year. That unfortunately doesn't happen. You might be surprised when you do get on my boat. The team I have, we are all not just aggressive; we are hyper aggressive.
That's okay. I can sail with anybody.
Yeah, you might have a little adjustment on that because. My driving style is very aggressive, be it upwind or downwind, and a lot of that comes from when I was sailing lasers and doing all that. I learned to bow down for just really hard for like 5 seconds, get the acceleration meter going up, and then I'm back in a hyper high mode, and I've got a really good groove that way. And sometimes I'll find that middle line, but my groove is very determined and very methodical. I know when I need to be low, when I need to be high, and then I can kind of follow the happy mode.
I'm no stranger to aggressive sailing. I've been team racing for 12 years now. So
yeah.
Aggressive sailing is quite fun.
Yeah, and I'm the same way on the starts, same way in mark roundings, and tactically, I'm the guy that'll just we're gonna go. We're behind. We had a bad start or whatever. We're gonna go ahead and miss this shift and play to the next one, and try to double up my ladder run. you know.
Yeah,
And
get clear air and
yeah,
move
because
it.
if you're sailing in a boat, a big fleet, you can't get anywhere without clear air. So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's college sailing. If you're behind, if you're behind and you can't get clear and you can't get into the shift, you're gonna stay behind. If you can get clear, even sailing the exact opposite direction that other people are sailing, you can at least have your air clear. You
yeah,
might be able to get back up and get in the top 10.
yeah. I'm a firm believer in you must have clear air. It doesn't matter where you go, just have clear air.
Unless it's a 40-degree shift, and then you might
Yeah,
want to sit on that one.
right, right. All right. So, what's one of the best maneuvers you pulled off? You know, a
Oh,
great
okay.
start, great
So
mark rounding.
Mark Rounding. There was, I don't know if you know team racing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you do. So we were in a 145 against a 236. And I mean, the goal of the 2-3 there is to put the 4 and the 5 into last and get into a 2-3-4. That's the strongest combination we can have. So we were sailing downwind. It's a digital in for those that don't know. So it's a upwind, take a right, go downwind, take a left. And so at the bottom mark, there was 2 people. The 2 was sitting here and the 3 was behind him, bluffing, waiting for me to get to the mark. I'm like, okay. And so instead of kind of being dumb and going around the outside, which is pretty impossible to do unless you're foiling, I sat behind them and waited. I'm like, I'm going to just wait here until you guys make a mistake. They drifted forward enough that I had the space to get in between both of them and the mark without touching them and without touching the mark. And so they tried to do a huge 180, and I just had the speed to get around the mark. So I converted from a 145 to a 1-2 without doing anything.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is a good one. I was doing a Hinman as a kind of a pickup crew one time years ago, and the girl I was sailing for, we weren't doing very well. We were getting taken to task at just about every mark round, and she let me drive a race, and similar was happening. And I had Brad Rohde and basically a lot of the Navy team right there, and they were setting a pick to push somebody back. You know, and I'm not that experienced at team racing, and I knew what they were doing and I knew the way out, but at the time, our other guy was so far back, really I just had to cause just sheer chaos. So I just came in, instead of sitting and waiting, I literally just wrapped my boat on the first one and then pushed him into his other boat and just dragged them down. I'm like, I know I have a foul, but there's no way our team's getting in. So I just took them out, you know, bumper boat style. That was it didn't work. But you know, at the time, that was the only conclusion I could come up with. All right, so what's one of the best programs you've been involved in? You know, have you been in good big boat programs or college programs? I mean,
Yeah. My favorite program was the DeVos program for the Melbs 32 in 2017. I did a world championship drive with, it was Volpe, Delta, and Hydra. I started on Delta and I moved to Hydra, which is their youth program. That was one of my favorite programs because they had us all organized from waking up in the morning to while we had lunch to meetings before we went out and meetings when we came home and dinner, and that was awesome. I loved
yeah.
it.
I mean, they were great sailors, and that was a great 3-boat program, and everything's obviously dialed in and perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard
it was
to.
amazing.
Yeah, it's not hard to like that one. You know, everything is, you know, you have to like it. All right, America's Cup. You know, with the new monohulls. What are your thoughts on it?
They're awesome. I mean, besides the foiling part, they're absolutely awesome. I love the foiling monohulls. They're more maneuverable than the catamarans. They're hopefully closer racing than the catamarans. I think it'll be a really awesome watch, at least.
Now, have you gotten to? I know your dad's done several of these America's Cup things. So, have you gotten to, you know, visit and be a part of any of those programs?
Yeah, 2005 to 2007, I lived in Spain while my dad was doing the campaign for Alini. And fortunately enough, in 2007, we won the America's Cup, so that was really exciting. I got to see Spain for 2 years. That was really cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. All right. Now, tell you what, were you aware of what was going on back then? Because you were pretty young. So, I mean,
Yes, I was aware.
yeah.
I knew enough about the America's Cup and racing and all that stuff. I was I was still in Green Fleet and
Hmm.
White Fleet for those Opti sailors, but I at least knew what was happening, and I had an appreciation for when you beat another boat by that
Yeah.
much in 56-foot boats.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I'm sure that was a good thing to see growing up as a kid. You know, it's got to open your eyes a little bit. Um, all right. So, what are your future plans with sailing? I mean, do you know right now, or do you have a
Not
boat
really.
you're going to focus on, or what have you got?
I'm gonna try to get into the A70 fleet a little bit more. There's a local 24 fleet up here right now.
Hmm.
I'm working with Adam, so I'm kind of practicing to go on the yearboat if we have the Worlds. So that'll be good. I'd like to get back on an IC37. I feel like I could do better this next time around than the last time I did. Yeah, I'm just gonna see where sailing takes me. Kind of accept all the opportunities that I can. Kind of climb up the ladder in sailing.
Yeah.
Maybe one day be somewhere near my dad.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's going to be a hard thing to do. He's pretty good. But
Yeah,
but just keep working. I'm sure you'll get there. Um, all right. So, what are your thoughts on women's sailing? You know,
I think it's awesome.
yeah,
I've grown up with a bunch of really strong women sailors, and I think it's really kind of cool how much we encourage women to go sailing and to do well in the sport.
yeah. Do you think there's anything we can do to get more of them attracted to it, or any sort of job we can do to, you know, help them along?
I think just having a program that helps women get into, I mean, I think we already have something like that, but just one that helps women get into sailing at a younger age,
Hmm.
and helps encouraging them. Even having like a local, like it could be like a women only um, summer program for like little girls, just
Hmm.
to see, so that they can have fun together. And I think that would be really
I got you.
cool. It's just the trickle down thing. It's like when you start sailing, you have a bunch of people, and it like as you get better, less people start to sail, and then as you get better, less, and less, and less, and less. It's just I think we start with too few. Kind of have a bunch over here.
Yeah, yeah. Getting them over there is definitely the hard part. All right. So, do you have any ideas on what you know, the powers that be can do to help grow sailing? I mean, you're a young
Of
guy, so
course.
obviously you're like, man, if they did that when I was growing up, or this when I was growing up, I'd like it even more, you know, or your friends would have stuck with it more, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a unique sport. It's like any other sport. It's a little harder to play than like soccer and football, but it's a unique sport, and I think that it's still going to be a niche market. It's who enjoys it,
Hmm.
who has a passion for it. Um, it's not going to be like football for anybody to join.
Yeah,
Kind of that niche, not really elitist, but a little bit of like we're in this group, and if you get into the group, awesome. You get out of the group, okay, sorry. And then it is a little tiny group.
yeah. And I wish we could figure out how to open up that group a little bit more,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
have no
hard.
ideas.
Yeah, I mean, it, you know, it takes time, money, and effort, and you know, and a
It's
lot
not a
of
spectator
practice.
sport.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a spectator sport. I mean, we could figure out a way of putting like stands. Actually, that's okay. So now I just had an idea. Drones. That could be a really cool way to film sailing. I've already seen a bunch of drone footage of people sailing, and I think that could be a good way to kind of sell sailing on a much more personal level. I think that right now it's like, oh, it's that water sport that you do over in the distance on the horizon,
Hmm.
especially with perf racing. You don't even see your competition.
Yeah.
One design racing, I think, is gaining some traction in the younger group. Um, but I think some drone footage, and I mean, my generation loves watching videos, loves watching playing video games, watching Netflix or whatever. And I think that if we did some more actiony videos that get the person in sport, like how Red Bull Racing has their Formula One team. They've
Hmm.
got Red Bull Bike, they've got Red Bull whatever. It could be like U.S. Sailing. We could have, I mean, I know they don't have the money for it, but they could have a promotional section of U.S. Sailing and make it something like Red Bull.
Yeah. Well, have you seen, in the Star Sailor League videos? I mean, I think they do an amazing job.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I mean, they have drones. They have tons of motorboats. They drop over a really cool video overlay where you can see, the GPS or cartoon type picture of the boat sailing and who's ahead. And that is some of the top-notch production, or some of the best I've seen.
And the fleet's big.
Yeah.
At Bacardi, it was one of the biggest fleets there.
Yeah.
That makes total sense because they're promoted. I think a lot of these classes, they're kind of in the shadows. They work behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the laser could get more popular if they actually
pushed it
and got that product in front of them.
Yeah, and it wouldn't. I don't think it'd be that hard. You put a little GPS tracker on the mast and go, and then get a bunch of drones out there. The problem is you got to find someone really good with video editing and computers to do it all. But there you go.
Okay, at it.
All right. Well, I might start sending you all these videos and say fix them. All right. All right. Good deal. All right. What kind of tips do you have for new sailors? Just people getting into the sport. Yeah.
I honestly think just find whatever's fun. If you enjoy foiling, do some foiling. If you enjoy going fast in super windy conditions, do that. If you enjoy hanging out with your friends and enjoying just leisure sails, definitely do that. I know a lot of people enjoy stuff like that. It's just you got to find what you enjoy and continue to do that. I enjoy racing, so that's why I stick with the racing side of it. But I also enjoy the cruising. So you just got to find whatever you enjoy. Stick with it.
Yeah, that's I think that's a big part of the sport that I know I like. I just try to enjoy everything. Even I don't know if you've seen me around, but even first thing in the morning, I'll be at the boat park, just cracking jokes, doing stupid things, just trying to get a laugh and having fun. Just gotta keep it light, gotta keep it enjoyable. Just cause.
Be positive on before you go out. I mean, I know a bunch of sailors who are the nicest human beings on the planet when you're hanging out with them on shore. And then they get to racing, they get a little bit of their competitive side, and then they come back and they're the nicest people ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, do you have anything else to add to this video?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for having you on, and I'm sorry if I got your colleges wrong in the beginning, but you cleared that up.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can get you out on the water with me or with other boats or whoever, and I want to thank you for this. So with that, this is Zane with Sailing Views signing off. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Let's grow this channel, get more sailors on here, get things going. All right. With that, over, out, and bye-bye.